So, is our community's obsession with having the perfect dick ruining our chances at finding love, at finding real love at that? And I've spent more time than I'd like to admit uh, thinking about this, or maybe not that. I mean, not whatever. We are part of a community that fought for the right to love freely. Yet so many of us feel trapped in a cycle of comparison and insecurity, all fueled by an obsession with a single body part. But what if the whole thing is a trap, right? And what if the key to genuine connection, to finding the person that you can't wait to wake up to, is learning how to escape it? So today, we are getting into the gay community's complex and often painful relationship with penis size. We will look at the psychology, the cultural forces, and what the science actually says. And most importantly, we'll ask, is the obsession sabotaging our ability to find real, lasting love? So the first thing that we need to talk about is the problem of comparison, right? So let's be honest. The moment many of us come out, we are thrown into a world that is intensely visual. Dating apps, which are often our first point of contact with the community, have a way of reducing people to a collection of stats and photos. So height, weight, ethnicity, and often explicitly or implicitly penis size. And it's no shock that in the hookup world, top or bottom and dick size are often the first question that is asked. This environment creates this kind of brutal marketplace of physical attributes where we're both the consumer and the product. But it's not just about apps, right? It's about unique it's about a unique dynamic in our community. We are constantly comparing ourselves to the very people that we desire. The same man who might be a potential partner is also a benchmark for our own physical adequacy. It creates this complicated internal conflict, a messy blend of desire and competition all at the same time. This pressure is cranked up to like 11 by the media as well, especially in pornography, which has become the primary and, to be honest with you, deeply flawed source of sexual education for many gay men. And the endowments that's seen in porn are often statistically rare, like they are, but they become the blueprint for what is considered ideal or even normal, setting a standard that is nearly impossible for most people to meet. And the result is a widespread and deeply ingrained anxiety around our size. And in one 2021 survey of gay and bi men found that 38% feel anxiety about their penis size. And think about that for a second. That's a huge portion, no pun intended, our community carrying a weight of worry about something they have no control over. You know, this isn't just a fleeting thought. It's a persistent, nagging voice of inadequacy that follows them into the bedroom, onto the beach, and into potential relationships. It's a collective insecurity that has become so normalized, we barely even question it anymore. But we need to, because the cost is immense. No pun intended again. The second thing here is the true cost of that obsession, right? This anxiety isn't just an abstract feeling. It has real, tangible consequences for our mental health and our ability to connect. When your self-worth is tied to a tape measure, it erodes your confidence from the inside out. And research constantly shows that gay men experience greater body image disturbances and are at higher risk for body dysmorphic disorders compared to heterosexual men. BDD is a serious mental health condition where a person becomes obsessed with perceived flaws in their appearance. And in our community, this often zeroes in on our muscularity or, you guessed it, penis size. So men who see their size as below average often report lower self-esteem and are more likely to adopt passive sexual roles, sometimes feeling like they don't have permission to be a top. Um, it can dictate their entire sexual identity. And they might feel intense shame or discomfort in locker rooms or at pool parties, avoiding any situation where their body might be seen and might be judged. The fear is real because the judgment is real. And that same 2021 survey revealed that 16% of gay men, 16%, have had derogatory comments made about their penis size by a sexual partner. And that kind of comment can leave a deep psychological scar for anybody. And this obsession also directly sabotages our dating lives. The survey found that 22% of gay men admitted they had rejected a potential partner because of their penis size. And that means more than 1 in 5 men have looked at someone they were otherwise attracted to and decided that this one physical attribute was a deal breaker for them. And it turns the search for a partner into this kind of like checklist exercise where a person's kindness and humor and intelligence and capacity for love all get sidelined by a physical measurement. And it's not just about rejection, right? The anxiety itself is a barrier. How can you build an emotional connection when your mind is consumed with worry about whether you measure up? It creates performance anxiety, makes you emotionally distant, and prevents the vulnerability that is essential for falling in love. The obsession becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You fear you are not good enough, so you act in ways to prevent anyone from getting close enough to see who you truly are, right? The third thing here that we need to talk about is the proof that debunks this myth. So with all of this anxiety and all of this pressure, let's go down to, does size actually matter? Right? This age-old question that's been asked for years and years and years. Does size actually matter? When it comes to finding a lasting, meaningful relationship, the evidence overwhelmingly suggests that not as much as we think it does. And in fact, when gay and bi men in one survey were asked directly if penis size matters, nearly half, 49%, said no. While physical attraction is obviously important, most men agree that for a long-term partnership, it's far from the most critical factor here. And part of the problem is that our perception of what's average is completely skewed, right? So porn and curated social media feeds have warped our reality. And one study found that about 45% of all men believed they had a small penis. Yet, when you look at the actual science, the vast majority of men fall within the normal range. The large-scale scientific reviews placed the average erect penis length between 5.1 and 5.5 inches, about 13 to 14 centimeters. The monsters we see online are the outliers, right? They are not the standard. They are the exception to the rule. And interestingly, some research based on self-reported data has suggested that gay men, on average, have slightly larger penile dimensions than heterosexual men. Sorry, heterosexual men. But this finding, even if true, it's a total red herring, right? It does nothing to change the core issue. A slightly different average within a community doesn't cancel out the anxiety. It doesn't, and it certainly doesn't correlate with greater happiness or relationship success. If anything, it might just add to the internal pressure and the competition. The truth is, sexual satisfaction is way more complex than a single measurement. It's about communication. It's about chemistry. It's about enthusiasm and a mutual desire to please. A person's skill, their attentiveness, and their emotional presence during intimacy are infinitely more important than their anatomical dimensions. Focusing on only one size is like judging a gourmet meal by the size of the plate it's served on, right? You are missing the entire experience. Now, I want to hear from you because I think it's really important to have these conversations. And I think it needs to happen in an open forum setting. So have you ever felt this pressure? Do you think the community's focus on size is a problem? Drop a comment down below. Let me know. Sharing our experiences is the first step to dismantling the collective anxiety that has to do with penis size. And if you think this is an important conversation, please consider liking and subscribing. Please consider sharing this with a friend or somebody you know. It helps to get the message out there to more people who might need to hear it. So we have to shift the focus here. So how do we escape this trap? How do we as individuals and as a community move past the obsession and start focusing on what truly matters? And the solution starts with a conscious shift in perspective by redefining what we value. So the first thing is be mindful of your media diet. Your Instagram feed, your timeline, and the porn that you watch are all programming your brain for dissatisfaction. So if you are only consuming images of sculpted, perfectly endowed fitness models and porn stars, you are setting yourself up to feel inadequate. Curate your feeds. Follow people of all body types. Seek out media that reflects the actual wonderful diversity of our community. It's time for a detox from these unrealistic ideals and standards. The second thing is let's change how we approach dating. Go into dates with the goal of discovering a person, not inspecting a product. Ask about their passions, their dreams, their fears. Focus on their sense of humor, their kindness, the way their eyes light up when they talk about something that they love. When you prioritize emotional and intellectual connection, physical attributes find their proper place, right? As one of part of the person as a whole, right? It doesn't define them entirely. And the third thing here is, and it's the hardest part, we have to do the internal work. This means building a sense of self-worth that isn't dependent on external validation. Your value as a person, as a partner, and a lover is not determined by your body. It is determined by your character. It's about you. It's about embracing your body for what it is and focusing on what it can do, how it allows you to experience pleasure, connect with others, and move through the world. And for some, this might mean talking to a therapist, especially if the anxiety is leading to depression or body dysmorphic thoughts. Seeking help is a sign of strength, it is not a weakness. You know, I think that the obsession with penis size is a heavy burden for our community, has been carried on for far too long. It's a thief of joy in a lot of ways. It's a barrier to intimacy and a saboteur of love in a lot of ways. It fuels our insecurities and pits us against each other, distracting from what we're really looking for, a genuine human connection. But it doesn't have to be this way. We have the power to change the culture by first changing ourselves, by choosing to value connection over comparison, and by celebrating diversity in all of its forms, and by affirming our own worth and the worth of others beyond just the physical. So imagine a community where we spent less time worrying about measurements and more time discovering the depth of each other's soul. Imagine a dating world where the size of someone's heart mattered more than other dimensions. That is a community where real love can truly flourish. And it's a community that can be started and can start being built right now. Thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate you being here. Again, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the information or if it resonated with you. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you in the next video.